So guys, this is going to get real technical and nerdy, but I think the audience will appreciate the takeaway. So because of the nature of what we do as Comcast and Comcast Technology Solutions, we understand these very broadcast centric terms like SCTE 224. So Joe, let's talk a little bit about the average day in a broadcast world and what that means when we're taking that experience and replicating it and making it available to a streaming audience where a game might run long and you've got different types of handsets and why that matters. Let's touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we talked about linear rights management a little bit, and you mentioned SCTE 224, which is the standard that we base our linear rights management solution on. And it gets really cool when you start to marry the linear streams with the actual out-of-band schedules that are created out of that SCTE 224 event interface. Managing that across multiple platforms, across multiple devices, and being able to distribute, from a content provider side, being able to distribute and convey their scheduling 30 days, 90 days in advance is great. But like you said, when an event runs long and it's real time, typically that's managed in the broadcast world by sort of hitting that big red button. You want to be able to manage that from an operations floor and extend that event so that the next event is queued up to run after it, but not over it.
Or stream doesn't stop.
Or the stream doesn't stop, exactly. That would be the worst case scenario. And so using the linear rights management interface, we can actually extend that event real time, do it from the content provider perspective, but relay that information out real time to all the distribution outlets that that content provider is using. So what that means is that instead of having to rely on that distribution partner to actually extend the event, the content provider is now in control of their content, and they can actually hit that big red button, but in theory, from an interface, from a user interface, and get that out to all the distribution outlets real time. So that event gets automatically extended. It's relayed not only to the distribution partner to keep that event running long, but also in the event, in the schedule, so that the audience who's watching it can see in their guide that the event may have been extended 15 minutes or 30 minutes into overtime for a sporting event.
And Peter, in that same vein, we're using those same markers and those same broadcast-centric things to make very compelling, rich VOD experiences like we were just discussing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think what we see in the space is everyone's looking for that, I want to quote Netflix-like experience where you can skip intros, you can do unique things with the content. So really, when we talk about SCTE markers, what that allows you to do is that's just an intro then opportunity. When you deliver that, you can either do a dynamic ad insertion based on that marker, or you can drive to that type of skip intro experience because you've got that segment point in the content. So there's a lot of downstream applications of having those SCTE markers in the content that apply, particularly when you start thinking about that OTT experience for skip intros, but also anything that you want to drive an interaction with the consumer.